The proposal comes from opposition spokesman on finance Mark Golding, who was the justice minister when the legislative framework was created to formalize the ganja industry. His suggestion was made Thursday night during the RGR Galena Communications town hall meeting at Jamaica College, where several issues in the industry were ventilated.
The environment is a dynamic environment internationally. So at the time when we crafted this law, we thought it necessary for Jamaica to comply with its international obligations as a signatory to the Single Convention of 1961. And we worked very hard to find where there was room for enabling an industry to evolve, which was compliant with our international obligations.
High on the agenda were the expensive license fees and the restrictions faced by the industry in accessing financing from banks because of their overseas banking relationships. One major issue explored was the obligations Jamaica faces under international treaties related to the cultivation, production, use, and export of narcotic substances. Mr. Golding stated that with Canada making major changes to allow recreational use, Jamaica could explore withdrawing from some treaties. He stated that the provisions are there to facilitate this move, so it needs serious consideration.
If we want to fully legalize, we would have to withdraw from the treaty. And that's an option. We could withdraw from the treaty. The treaty itself, the law of treaties, the Vienna law of treaties, provides, for example, where groups of countries that are like-minded can form their own treaties around this subject. I think we should be exploring, talking to Canada, talking to Uruguay and other states that might be minded to have a more liberal regime than what this 1961 convention allows, and designing a treaty for countries that want to have a regime that meets the needs of their people.
And the Cannabis Licensing Authority CLA, which came under heavy fire from the members of the audience at the town hall meeting, sought to explain that a parliamentary solution is what is required to change how the ganja business can operate. Chairman of the CLA, Hyacinth Lightburn, explained how the international framework is set up and what would be required for changes to be made.
The 1961 Narcotics Convention, to which Jamaica is a signatory to, requires that there is a single authority designated for the administration. You had mentioned earlier, or I think Dr. Knife had mentioned, why the word medical. It is because under that treaty, the provision and what we are able to do lawfully at the moment is to deal with ganja in a medical, scientific, and therapeutic manner. So, to answer the gentleman's question, that is an issue of lawmakers. But what the lawmakers have done is looked at the treaty to which we are currently a signatory to and sought to use as much as we possibly could in order to be able to, as you say, get us on the ganja train.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority has given an update on the number of licenses granted since its inception and the status of those not yet issued. The chairman explained on Thursday that out of over 500 applications, less than 30 licenses have been issued.
One is the processing and issuance of licenses, and second is the monitoring and enforcement of the industry. Since we started accepting applications over 2 years ago, as at the end of September, we have processed or are in the stream of processing over 500 licenses. 24, as of the end of September, 24 licenses have been issued. 134 licenses have been conditionally approved. So going forward, what we hope is that we will continue to get better at what it is that we do, and we welcome the public's comments as well as suggestions as to how it is that we can do better.
Kimberly Broderick, Frontline News.